Thrain Frostveil, the Rimewrought Sentinel's saga. In the frozen expanses of the northern Tundra, where jagged, icy peaks pierce the eternal night like fangs of some ancient beast, Thrain Frostveil's story begins not in the warmth of a hearth, but amid the howling winds of abandonment and survival. Born under a blood moon during a perpetual winter storm, amid the harsh, unrelenting cold that grips the far north, Thrain entered the world as a human child to hardy nomad parents, eking out a living as fur trappers and guides through the treacherous, snow-swept passes far from any civilized settlements. His parents, ordinary folk hardened by the tundra's cruelty, had whispered desperate prayers to the goddess of winter during his difficult birth, pleading for strength against the endless chill. Whether by divine whim or answered plea, the Frostmaiden, goddess of cold and winter's inexorable wrath, bestowed upon the newborn a rare blessing or curse. In that moment, his fragile human form transformed. His skin turned a pale, translucent azure, etched with faint, glowing crystalline veins that pulsed with an inner chill, granting him innate resilience to the biting cold that claimed lesser folk. Faint, vaporous blue wisps flickered from his scalp even then, dormant tendrils of frigid essence, marking him as a rime-kin, a being touched by primal, elemental cold. Tragedy struck when Thrain was but an infant, swaddled in sealskin against the gale. A ferocious blizzard, whispered to be the Frostmaiden's wrath manifest, buried their caravan under an avalanche of unyielding snow. The storm's fury spared no one, save the crying babe, whose blessed heritage allowed him to endure the sub-zero tomb long enough to be unearthed by an unlikely savior, a pack of yetis, those savage, borderline sapient predators of the peaks. Life among the yetis was a brutal forge that tempered Thrain's body and spirit into unyielding steel. The pack, numbering a dozen, including tykes and elders, roamed the high mountaintops, embodying chaotic ferocity. They hunted with paralyzing gazes that chilled foes to the bone, rending elk, wolves, and unwary travelers with claws like frozen scythes. Thrain grew amid this primal existence, learning to mimic their hulking gaits and savage roars. Fed on raw meat and the marrow of bones, he developed his imposing 6 feet 6 inches frame, muscles chiseled by scaling sheer ice walls and wrestling young yetis in the snow. His pale, translucent azure skin blended seamlessly with the glacial environs, and the crystalline veins pulsing beneath granted him resistance to the cold that even his adoptive kin envied. Yet, unlike the Yeti's borderline sapience, driven by instinctual hunger and territorial rage, Thrain's humanoid intellect blossomed in secret. He observed the stars through cavern cracks, pondering the twilight veil that separated day from endless night in the tundra's cursed climate. A veil woven by the Frostmaiden herself to preserve the frozen beauty of her domain. The yetis taught him survival's harsh lessons, to stalk like a ghost in blizzards, to endure starvation during lean moons, and to defend the pack with unrelenting fury. The chieftain, whom Thrain came to call Grimfang, treated him as a favored tyke, sparring with him to hone his combat prowess. In one fateful hunt, Thrain earned his jagged scar, a frost giant's axe glancing his temple during a raid on the pack's territory. The wound sealed not with flesh, but glittering hoarfrost, a mark of his blessed resilience and a trophy that Grimfang respected. Yet isolation bred introspection. While the yetis reveled in the kill, Thrain felt a stirring unease, a call to something beyond mere predation. Thrain's awakening came during his 16th winter, amid the tundra's unyielding cold. Venturing alone into a forbidden crevasse, drawn by an ethereal glow, he discovered an ancient shrine, half buried in ice, bearing the symbol of the Frostmaiden, a six-pointed white snowflake on a gray diamond with a white border, rhymed in eternal frost. As twilight fell, a vision assailed him, the seductive form of the brittle maiden, also known as Lady Frostkiss, one of the Frostmaiden's avatars, manifested before him in a mesmerizing display of icy allure. She appeared as an ethereal beauty, with pale, translucent skin that shimmered like frozen mist, her body draped in flowing, crystalline veils that clung like liquid ice, revealing curves that evoked both desire and dread. Her long, flowing white hair billowed like vaporous winds, framing a face of haunting perfection with glowing turquoise eyes that pierced his soul. Full red lips curved in a tempting smile, and sharp, icicle-like claws extended in invitation. Against the backdrop of undulating aurora borealis lights in greens and blues, she reclined seductively amid the snow, her presence radiating an intoxicating blend of beauty and power that ensnared the senses. With a voice like the soft crackle of forming frost, laced with honeyed promises, she enticed him into her service, whispering of the eternal rewards of devotion, power over the cold, dominion in the frozen realms, and a place at her side in the endless winter. Thrain was instantly enamored with her beauty and power, falling deeply in love with her in that moment, his heart claimed by the Frostmaiden's seductive guise. Channeling nascent clerical power, Thrain invoked his first spell, a sphere of dim, chilling light that warded off a lurking shadow demon, freezing it solid in the Frostmaiden's name, emitting waves of undulating dim light like that of the aurora borealis, shimmering in ethereal greens and blues to illuminate the frozen gloom. The turning point came in the Battle of the Shattered Pack. The blizzard screamed like 1,000 dying wolves as the frost giant came. 10 feet of corded muscle wrapped in frost-crusted furs, skin the color of glacial ice, eyes burning with pale, hateful fire. In one massive fist it clutched a great axe of blackened iron rhymed with eternal horror, the blade longer than Thrain was tall. The giant had come for the Yeti's territory, and it announced its arrival by smashing through the lair's ice wall in a deafening explosion of shards and snow. Half the pack died in the first breath, young Yetis crushed, elders bisected. Blood steamed in the frozen air, the copper reek mixing with the giant's bellowing laughter that shook icicles from the ceiling. Thrain Frostveil stepped into the breach, His blue flame mane erupted into full, savage life. Tall, whipping spikes of cold fire roaring upward like a crown of frozen lightning, illuminating the cavern in an azure hell glow. The jagged hoarfrost scar across his left temple and jaw pulsed with glittering light, as if the wound remembered its maker. The frost giant saw the scar, saw the flames, and laughed again, a wet, grinding sound like glaciers calving. "Little pup with the mark," it rumbled. "I gave you that face. Now I finish the job." Thrain raised his kite shield, its six-pointed snowflake blazing cold blue, and roared a challenge that echoed off the walls like breaking stone. The giant swung, the axe whistling down in a killing arc. Thrain channeled Twilight Sanctuary. A radiant dome of dim, shimmering light burst outward from him, enveloping the surviving yetis in waves of aurora borealis. Deep emerald, electric blue, and violet rolling across the ice like living sky. Then came the Frostmaiden's blessing. The cavern plunged into deeper twilight. Thrain's crystalline veins flared like lightning in his flesh. He stepped upward, once, twice, 3 times, his boots finding purchase on the very fabric of the night sky. The auroras bent and bowed beneath him, forming a rippling platform that shimmered like moonlight on black water. He rose into the air, Dawnbreaker's bane trailing frost and blue fire, runes blazing like frozen stars. From above, he looked down on the frost giant like winter passing sentence. He brought the hammer down in a single, apocalyptic arc. The impact was cataclysmic. Crack, kaboom! The crystal head of Dawnbreaker's bane struck the frost giant's collarbone with a sound like a mountain splitting, and the blow drove through armor, flesh, and bone in a spray of glittering ice shards and steaming blood. The giant staggered, knees buckling, then collapsed in a thunderous heap, the great axe clattering from its dead fingers. Thrain landed softly amid the carnage, boots crunching on the frozen gore. The aurora dome flickered and faded, leaving only wisps of green and blue light drifting upward like dying fireflies. The surviving yetis, bloodied, wide-eyed, stared up at the place where their brother had walked the sky itself. They did not cheer. They did not roar. They simply watched, chests heaving, as the blue flames of his mane slowly settled, still flickering like embers in a dying hearth. From that night forward, the Rime Pup had become Skywalker. The name evokes how his aurora-emitting Twilight Sanctuary pulled the shimmering lights of the sky down to the ground like a descending storm, and how he stepped upon the night itself during the battle, his blue flames blazing as he walked the heavens to protect his kin. This victory marked Thrain's departure. The yetis, respecting his strength but fearing his frostfire magic, bid him farewell with guttural roars. Now, a legendary figure whispered across the northern tundra, among humans as a terrifying enforcer of winter, and among yetis as the revered Skywalker. Thrain Frostveil embodies the Frostmaiden's ethos, a vessel of winter's cruelty and endurance, forever vigilant in enforcing her dominion.